Welcome aboard Alex's Animal Ark. My name is Alex and I will be your guide to all the amazing animals that live on our planet. Today we will be learning about the red kangaroo, which was suggested by my brother Jeff. Now most of you have probably seen a red kangaroo and probably know what they look like, but you might learn something interesting in this podcast. So to start with, red kangaroos are the largest kangaroo and the largest living marsupials. They can live to be 8 years in the wild, but can live up to 25 in captivity. Males can be between 4.2 to 5.2 feet in length, with their tails between 3 to 4 feet in length. They can weigh up to 175 pounds, and they can reach around 6 feet in height. The females are much smaller and can be between 2.7 and 3.4 feet in length, with their tails about 2 feet long. The females weigh up to 75 pounds, and they can reach about 3.5 feet in height. Red kangaroos have a very square-shaped muzzle. Inside their mouths, red kangaroos have teeth specialized for eating plants with lots of cellulose. Kangaroos have relatively normal incisors. They have a very large gap between their front teeth and molars, which gives the red kangaroo more room to move food around in its mouth and position it between its molars. As their molars wear down and fall out, new ones emerge and take their place so that there's always a fresh grinding surface. On top of their heads, they have very large pointed ears. They have very long eyelashes to protect from glare from the sun. Red kangaroo's body is pear-shaped and covered with soft fur. Males are typically orange-red in color, and females are typically blue-gray in color. Both the males and females have whitish-colored undersides, which differentiates them from other kangaroos. They also have black and white patches on their cheeks, as well as a broad white stripe from their cheek to their ear. Their front limbs are shorter than their back legs. Their front limbs have 5 fingers on them with short claws, which are used for grooming, self-defense, and eating. The back limbs are very long and muscular. They are used to propel the kangaroo forward through hopping or slowly walking when grazing. They have 4 toes on their back limbs, but the inner 2 are fused together into one claw that is used for grooming. The tail is very long and muscular. It can support the red kangaroo's entire body weight. It also forms a tripod with the 2 front limbs, which occurs when they're walking about on the ground. The tail is also used for balance when sitting, resting, and hopping. It's also helpful when 2 males fight, because they lean back on their tails and kick each other in the stomachs for dominance. Some of you might be wondering, where are red kangaroos found in the wild? Well, red kangaroos are found in arid and semi-arid areas of central and western Australia. They prefer open plains habitat with a few trees for shade during the day. Now, some of you also might be asking, what are some behaviors of the red kangaroo? Well, red kangaroos are mostly crepuscular and nocturnal, which means they forage during the evening and night since Australia gets really hot during the day. They will move during the day if they have to, but most of the time they rest under bushes, shrubs, or trees. Red kangaroos can't sweat, so to keep cool they will lick their chests and the inside of their forearms until their skin is soggy. Since their blood vessels in these areas are close to the surface of the skin, when the moisture evaporates, it cools off the blood circulating underneath. Red kangaroos primarily eat grasses, leaves, roots, and low herbaceous plants. Red kangaroos have a 2-part stomach. The first part of their stomach is bag-shaped and filled with microbes that ferment the vegetation and release the nutrients. The food may stay in this first part for up to 16 hours. Sometimes the food gets coughed back up, so the kangaroo chews it up more and swallows it, just like cows chewing cud. The second part of their stomach is tube-shaped and contains stomach acid and enzyme that finish the digestion process. They typically stay in the same home range for their whole lives. They may travel up to 25 to 30 kilometers to more favorable foraging grounds if the rainfall is low. They live in small groups called mobs, which may include up to 10 kangaroos. It's mostly comprised of females and joeys with 1 or 2 males. Larger groups may occasionally form in areas with good amounts of forage. These groups may reach numbers as large as 1,500 kangaroos. Red kangaroo males will fight each other to earn the right to breed with females. Both opponents will stand up on hind legs and start grappling with their front limbs. Eventually, they will lean back and start kicking each other until one of them gives up, at which point they both go about their day. Breeding for red kangaroos occurs year-round, but joeys are typically born in spring and summer. Gestation lasts about 33 days. After this, the jelly bean-sized joey will crawl up into the mother's pouch and attach itself to one of 4 teats. The joey will suckle on this teat for 120 to 130 days, during which it continues to develop. At about 150 days, the joey will start to stick its head out of the pouch. At about 190 days, the joey will start making short journeys out of the pouch before returning back into the pouch. After that, the joey will continue to do this until eventually it leaves the pouch for good at 235 days. It will still continue to suckle after it reaches the age of 1 year. After a joey is born and in the pouch, the female can mate again and another embryo is created. However, the embryo will only start developing after the joey in the pouch leaves the pouch. This is known as embryonic diapause. After the joey in the pouch leaves, the embryo develops and eventually climbs into the pouch. Then it latches onto a different teat that the joey outside is using. At this point, the mother produces 2 kinds of milk, one for the joey outside the pouch, which is high in fat, and one for the joey in the pouch, which is lower in fat. The interesting thing is that at this point the female can mate again, and will have 3 joeys at 3 different stages of development. And now it's time for some red kangaroo fun facts. Their scientific family is called Macropodidae, which means big feet. Did you know that kangaroos have a vision range of 300 degrees due to their eye placement? Did you also know that kangaroos cannot walk forwards or backwards, and they have to leap? Did you also know that kangaroos can travel 26 to 29 feet in one leap, and they can reach heights between 6 to 9 feet? Did you also know that kangaroos can reach speeds of up to 30 miles per hour? Here's another fun fact. Kangaroos are pretty good swimmers. Kangaroos can also survive on very little water, since they get most of their moisture from the plants they eat. Males can be called boomers, and females can be called flyers or blue flyers due to their coloration. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed it and want to hear more, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is also titled Alex's Animal Ark, or subscribe on Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Castro, Castbox, Podfriend, and iHeartRadio. Thank you for coming on this animal adventure. I will see you all again for the next voyage.